friends. I'm a therapist with an MBA. I do a lot of like coaching and consulting for therapist business owners. And like a constant topic of conversation, right? And when therapists go private practice and are trying to build their caseload is like, you've got to niche down. You've got to find your niche, right? And I do think that's important, okay? But if you're somebody who maybe hasn't niched down, who can work with lots of populations, who enjoys like having a diverse caseload, I don't think not niching down clinically is a total like make or break. But if you're not going to niche down clinically, something about you has to be niche, if you know what I mean. Like for example, if you're going to be a therapist who works with adults who have experienced depression, anxiety, life transitions, adjustment, right? That is not a niche, right? Like pretty much every therapist on planet Earth is capable of working with that population and has worked with that population. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to work with that population. But again, so many people can work with that population that it's like throwing a dart against a board, you know? Pick a therapist, any therapist. And so something about you instead needs to stand out if you're going to work with like big generalized populations. For example, I've always had a pretty clinical niche, but a big part of my niche is that I'm a mean older sister therapist, right? So my style is a big part of my niche. The fact that I'm going to like hype you up but call you out, right? Overwhelmingly, that's why people have chosen to see me. Not necessarily because like what I'm specifically trained in or the kinds of like diagnoses populations that I've historically worked with, right? Overwhelmingly, people choose to see me because of my style of therapy. So when I am looking for new clients, which I'm not actively doing right now, but when I have historically looked for new clients, that is actually the piece that I lean into. Just truthfully, I feel comfortable working with almost like any presentation at this point. I have, some things that I feel more comfortable with, less comfortable with, but like almost any presentation, I feel like I'm competent in handling. But if you don't like jive with my style of therapy, it doesn't matter if I'm competent, you're not gonna fucking like it. It's not gonna work for you. So is niching down important? Yes. But I also think that like the word niche has lost all meaning a little bit because people are saying it so much. So just think about it as like something that sets you apart in how you practice therapy and what you do and why clients would specifically seek you out, okay? And that can be clinical. And I think at some point there should be a clinical component to your niche. But again, if you're at the beginning of your journey and you're not really sure what that's going to be, you don't have to only rely on a clinical niche. I think long-term best practice is to have like a Venn diagram of like clinical niche and then like style niche, and then you'll really be able to find your people. And I'm sorry that I made this hand gesture. I'm gonna stop now. Love you, bye.